Hi, and welcome to this session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion meditations. What we're going to do today is go through the regular grounding practice that we've been doing of getting ourselves more settled and centered and connected with the earth. Then mindfulness practice, which is close placement. I was asked the other day about the difference, about the place of concentration and focus. And it's an interesting principle. I remember one golf pro who said, if you're trying to concentrate, you're not concentrating. And he had an intuitive understanding that concentration is not a matter of holding on to something tightly with your mind, but resting your mind on something and staying there with it. So concentration is less, I need to find a way to stay focused on something, and more, I need to let go of and not pay so much attention to the distractions that take me away from what my intended object of attention is. So we start with something called close placement, which is holding our minds close in. And the closest place we can be is in our body. So we focus on awareness of the internal sensation of filling as the breath comes in and emptying as the breath goes out. And as we do the practice, I'd like you to pay particular attention to how much or little you are trying to control the breath as you're feeling it coming in and going out. There's a tendency to do a little more exaggerated in-breath and out-breath in order to feel what you want to feel. But the idea is be much more an observer than a controller. And even if your breath is very, very soft and shallow, that's the object of your attention, just the breath as it is. As we've said, like the wind that comes and goes. And then we're going to expand that focus to environmental or open awareness, in which we're open to a bigger space. We're going to focus a little bit more on the out breath and let the in breath come in by itself. And then as the breath goes out, we ride the breath out, be one with the breath, and as it dissolves into space, our mind opens up into space. And then last, we're going to do some compassion practice. I was thinking about just this horrible couple of years of this pandemic, and realizing that so many people have died, but the impact goes even beyond them. Pretty much everyone, based on people who know people, I think it's the 6 degrees of separation. If you counted the 6 degrees of separation, everybody knows or has a connection to somebody who has lost someone. So the impact of this pandemic is literally universal. So what we'll do is the compassion practice for ourselves and others, and focus particularly on the loss and sadness that's happened over these last couple of years. So to begin, take your good posture. And you want to be upright, but not rigid. If you feel like the back of your neck is extending a little bit, your chin comes in naturally. We don't want our chin floating up. We get spaced out. We're tucked down. We end up getting sleepy. But if this is natural just sitting like this. And I feel like the back of my neck extends. You can see, I'll turn a little bit sideways here. If this is normal, then extending the back of the neck, the chin comes in naturally. I'm not doing anything intentional to my jaw or chin, just extending the back of my neck slightly upward. And then let your arms hang. Again, with good posture, shoulders back a little bit, not in an extreme way, but back a little bit. Then let your upper arms hang straight down from your side. Leave your elbows where they are and swivel your hands up. Either each hand palm down on the top of each thigh, or one on top of the other in your lap, with the thumbs just very lightly touching. It'll be like that. Feet either flat on the floor if you're sitting on a chair, cross-legged, loosely cross-legged if you're on a cushion. And if you're on a chair and have long legs like mine, I find it easier to cross them loosely in front. Otherwise, my knees are higher than my hips and I have to strain to keep my posture. Your lips are either very slightly touching or slightly parted. Either way is okay. Traditionally, one lets one's tongue just float to lightly touch the roof of the mouth just behind the front teeth. But you can also just let your tongue be wherever it is naturally. And for this part of the practice, we let our eyes gently close. And be aware of your body. We want to synchronize our body and mind, so we have to fully inhabit our body. Just wiggle your toes, feel your feet, roll your ankles, arch your feet, raise your toes up, feel your feet, ankles, flex your calf muscles. When you do, you can also feel your shin muscles. We don't feel that front muscle very much. Knees, thighs, quads on top and hamstrings on the bottom. You can flex and relax, and just make them active. Activate your body. Your hands are there behind your knees or in your lap. You can stretch your fingers out, wiggle them a little bit, and inhabit your hands, your forearms, your hips, pelvis. You can wiggle around on your seat so that you find that your weight is equally distributed between your two sit bones, rather than you're leaning over and sitting on one side or another. Arch your back, pull your stomach in. Just feel that balance in your posture. You're not really pulling your stomach in, you're pulling your deep belly in, your core. All around your rib cage. You can kind of roll it around in both directions a little bit. Pull your shoulders back and feel your shoulder blades. Feel your chest open up. Your upper arms, shoulders. Neck, Turn your head a little from side to side. I get a little Rice Krispies in there. Crackle, snap, crackle, and pop. Feel that back of your neck extending upward for your posture. Wiggle your jaw a little bit. Move your face muscles around. Pull your ears back and feel your scalp, forehead. Now we're fully here, and we can do a body scan back down the other direction from the top of our head. Now, just keep your posture and keep still, but notice any areas of tension. And your awareness touching those areas of tension, instantly melt them as much as they will melt. Like the morning sun coming up and melting snowflakes on a leaf that have collected overnight. They just naturally melt, flow down and out of you and into the earth. From the top of your head, forehead, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, your jaw, neck and shoulders, collarbone and shoulder blades, upper arms, chest, upper back, rib cage all around, down past your solar plexus and stomach, lower back and deep belly. Just let that soften without losing your posture. We often have more tension in our deep belly than we realize. Find the balance between letting that relax or soften and holding your posture. Hips and pelvis, thighs, forearms, and hands, knees, calves, ankles, and feet. And you can either slowly let your awareness, if you feel like you're still up in your head, you can let your awareness drift back and down, slowly drifting down to rest deep in your core. If you were just fully in your body and you want to just go there, that's fine also. Just place your awareness, place your mind in the deep core of your torso, a couple of inches below your navel, just in front of your spine. Just rest there. Let your mind rest there. Feel the gentle movement of your deep core as the breath comes in and out. And as each out breath goes out, just settle more deeply. Let your weight sink into the chair or the cushion. Too often we're perching, almost holding ourselves up as if we're concerned that someone might pull the chair out from under us. Breathe out, sink down. Let yourself be supported first by the chair or the cushion. Breathe out and imagine you're sinking down even further and you're being supported by the earth. Breathe out and feel like beyond supported by the earth, you're merging with the earth. You're part of the earth, but extending upward majestically like a mountain. Now really let go of control of your breath. I promise you'll keep breathing by yourself and just be an observer. Notice how it comes in and goes out, coming and going like the wind. Let your mind be open, have an open curiosity to whatever arises in your mind, whatever you're going to experience. Like the sky, mind like the sky, spanning the earth, everything taking place below. The sky has no preference for this or that. Just open mind like the sky, breath like the wind, body like a mountain. Tuning into the body, that feeling of filling and emptying. Let your eyes gently open, about halfway, looking downward. If there's nothing in front of you, and you can turn to the side so you're not looking right at your device. And your eyes will come to rest on the floor a few feet in front of you. Let your eyes rest in that direction, but let go of the spot you're looking at and just soften your gaze. Open up to the space around you. You can see your lap below, space just in front of you and just to the sides. Within awareness of your posture in that space, let your mind rest on the sensations of filling and emptying as the breath comes in and out. Again, note the intention not to control the breath, but just to observe it. And if a thought leads to another thought and you find yourself taken away into a daydream, at some point you will wake up, sort of snap out of it. At that moment, you're already back to here and now. First, re-inhabit your body, invigorate your posture, and then return to the attention on the internal sensation of filling and emptying. We'll do that for a few minutes.
If you've gotten sleepy and your eyes closed, just reinvigorate your posture. Open your eyes a little wider. Raise your gaze farther out. And pay particular attention to the feeling of the breath going in and out your nostrils. If your mind has been wild and just full of thoughts, again, reconnect with your posture. Lower your gaze so you're just barely looking out below the eyelids, and rest your awareness very deep in the core of your torso, feeling the filling and emptying down at the bottom. And as always, if your mind has wandered off into a daydream, when you realize it, you can have a little punctuation. Maybe have the thought, I was just the thought someplace else, because you were someplace else. And then tune back into the body, which is always here and now.
And if you'd like to try it, you can sharpen your focus a little by paying attention to the phases of the in and out breath, starting to fill, the feeling that goes with the middle part, the process of filling, and the feeling when you're full and it stops and there's a little gap. Starting to empty, emptying, empty, and the tiny gap in the transition to starting to fill, filling, and full. So we'll go for about a minute longer with that. And as the going fades, just relax and let go of the practice. Move around if you need to refresh your posture. Take a mini break. My teacher used to say that when the gong rang and you didn't have to try to practice anymore, that was the best meditation, because you were simply being. And you may have noticed, especially because I said, be aware of how much you're an observer or controller of your breath, and try to let it go and not control it. You might actually have become more self-conscious and controlling of it. That's the paradox of the mind. But after you do it a couple of times, you'll start to relax and start to pick up the subtle sensation when your breath is very, very shallow. So now reconnect with your posture. Raise your gaze this time and look out just below horizontal. And soften your peripheral vision. Open it up so that you feel like you're sitting in big open space. Again, your eyes are directed in a particular direction. You don't move them, but you just soften your gaze and open up your peripheral vision. Open up your peripheral hearing. Listen in all directions. Be aware of your body fully activated, all the areas of your body. Notice what arises in your mind, thoughts, and any awareness of smells or tastes, mental feelings that often go along with physical feelings. All of these are happening in the present moment. So for this practice, we let our mind wander. We started out with the out breath, but then let it go and let it move around from one sense perception to another. Wherever it rests, just tune into, for at least a few moments, the aspects of that sense perception. If you rest on vision, notice as much of the colors, shapes, and shades of light and dark as you can in your whole field of vision. If it's sound, listen for sounds, near and far, loud and soft. If it's feelings, tune into any feelings you're feeling anywhere in your body. If it's thoughts, watch as thoughts appear, disappear, and are replaced by other thoughts. All that's happening in the present moment. So we use the tendency of the mind to wander and just go with it, but we wander around the present. Now, if one thought leads to another that hooks you and takes you away, so that instead of watching the parade of thoughts, you find yourself in the parade, just have a sense of humor, smile. You can say someplace else because you were someplace else. Come back to the body and start with the out breath. As the breath goes out, let your mind go out with it. And as the breath dissolves into space in front of you, let your mind open up to the space. Breathe out, dissolve, open. Let the in-breath come back by itself. Breathe out, dissolve, open. Out, dissolve, open. Relax that practice. And for the compassion practice, you can either leave your eyes open, lower your gaze, or let your eyes close. Begin by tuning into the area in your chest that is your heart center. That is the center of your torso, your chest, at heart level, just in front of your spine. And imagine there a ball of light. It can be like a crystal made of light, or just a rough spherical shape of a ball of light. It's spherical, but not solid. It's light. It's made of light. And it represents and is the quality of all of our true nature of embryonic wisdom and compassion. We all have that. And it's a bank of energy, a source that of light and awakening that's in everyone's heart, just more covered over for some. But that has the potential to transform any negativity into positive energy, the positive energy that comes from wisdom and compassion. We begin with ourselves, and as the gong fades, tune into your body and mind. Any negative energies, physical or mental, negative emotions, negative thoughts about yourself. Be aware of all of them. Throughout your being, they're like a gray cloud that covers up your wisdom and compassion nature. But as you breathe in, gather that whole cloud of negativity into the light in your heart center, and it radiates out the cool moonlight of kindness that fills your being with relief from negativity, relief from suffering. Gather in the cloud of negativity as you breathe in. It transforms, and the light in your heart radiates out, filling you with peace, health, and happiness. The opposite of struggle, illness, and suffering. Breathe in struggle, illness, and suffering. Breathe it out to yourself, peace, health, and happiness. And now imagine all the beings of the world, your loved ones, friends and family, people you know, people you've never met, all creatures, great and small. All are to some extent or another clouded with negativity, with struggle, illness, physical or mental, and suffering. As you breathe in, gather from all of them, those dark clouds, into the ball of light in your heart center. It can accommodate all of that, the whole world, and instantly transforms it and radiates out that cool moonlight of kindness, filling all beings with that light, so that relieves their struggle, illness, and suffering. Gather it in and relieve them of that. Breathe out and fill them with peace, health, and happiness. Now we'll take a particular focus with that, because one of the problems, the biggest problem, is the hatred and anger people have towards each other. So as you breathe in, gather all the hatred and anger towards others that people have, and it transforms and radiate out kindness, love, and compassion for others and toward others. Take away from everyone their anger and hatred. Radiate out the light that turns that into feelings of compassion, kindness, and caring for others. Imagine you're doing that for as many beings as you can in the world. As the sound of the gong fades, just let go of the visualization. Let go of any thoughts about anything. Just let your mind rest with your body and your breathing for a few breaths. And we like to end our session, especially because it's more powerful to include others in the benefit of our practice than just doing it for ourselves. So you can repeat after me or put it in your own words. May the practice I've just done be of benefit to others as well as myself. And I like to add, if you're feeling particularly generous or would like to cultivate generosity, you can say something like, may the practice I've just done be of even more benefit to others than myself. Great. We have a few minutes for questions or comments. If you'd like, you can see, if you use your cursor, the reaction button. It says reactions with a little happy face on the bottom of your screen. You can just press that and raise your hand like this. It'll show up like that. And I'll unmute you. Eric, can you unmute yourself there? There you go.
Hey, Dr. Joe.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Cool. I was curious about the hand mudras. In the past, we've done it with the palms down on the thighs. What's the one with the palms crossed and the thumbs touching? Is there like a significance to that one?
No, it's very traditional. Erica, because it's going to come through yours, I'm just going to mute you for a second here. Okay, so it's very traditional. It's the idea of circles or circulation. So very often in the Zen tradition, it's done with the elbows out a bit so that it creates a circle from the shoulders around the arms, then to the hands and back around again. And then the notion that the crossed legs create a circle as well. So it has to do with circulation. There's also something to do with the palms being up and open and generosity. People have asked me, well, what about just clasping your hands like that? They kind of activate when you do that, as opposed to resting. And you could even say one hand resting on the other is like the mind resting on whatever the experience of the present moment is. Whatever symbol that helps wake you up, that's fine for it to be that. I just made that one up just now. So, but there's no reason why you can't. That's what all of these are. Everything is a gesture, a representation of awakened mind. So, someone asked my Tibetan teacher one time, is it more auspicious? Is it, a better sign if it's raining or if it's sunny? And he said, oh, well, when it's sunny, that's the sun of wisdom and compassion shining on everyone. So that's very auspicious. And if it's rain, oh, that's the rain of wisdom and blessings coming down on everybody. So that's very auspicious. So it's all about waking up. And whatever triggers that or signals that to you, that's what we're about. Did you have anything more on that? Okay. Rocco, I'll ask you to unmute. I see you there on number 7 at Pebble Beach.
Yeah, that's my happy place for sure.
So
First time I played, I hit the green. So
congratulations.
I was ecstatic.
So do you have a question about the meditation practice?
About waking up. I recently read the book Golf in the Kingdom by Michael Murphy. And I felt kind of woken up by it, and I was wondering if you know Mr. Murphy and your thoughts on how a book like that kind of wakes you up.
I do know Michael Murphy, and in fact, one of his biggest fans created something called the Shivas Irons Society. The protagonist, not the protagonist, but one of the main characters in the book is an old Scottish golf pro whose name is Shivas Irons, and he teaches Michael. He's Michael's guru, golf guru, if you will, and none of it is about technique. It's all about visualization and working with your mind. So they created this society of people who are like-minded, interested in the mystery and beauty of golf. And I happen to be also on the board of directors. So I'll just put your email in the chat and I will send you some information about that.
Okay, great. I
And
definitely felt an awakening reading the
good.
book.
That's great. Yeah, please type that into the chat and I'll collect it and send you some information about that. Or you can email me, just email info@zengolf.com. That's the easiest. Okay, Rocco?
Okay, sounds good.
info@zengolf.com, and I will send you some info about that. But it's true, you know, I mean, that's why I do the golf teaching. I teach it not just to help people play better golf, but to use that as a way in, as a way to become better people and become more awake. And you can do that with anything. You know, this practice is not something that we do. Oh, I'm here for this hour, and then I'm just going to go do everything else any way that I want to. You know, the idea is everything that we do, we want to bring mindfulness and awareness to it and find a way to use whatever we do as a path to awakening. Any other comments or questions? Well, as always, it is wonderful to be with all of you. So we'll do again a little dedication for everyone, and we can say it together. May the practice we have just done be of benefit to others as well as ourselves, and maybe even more to others than ourselves. So thank you very much for participating in the session.